YouTube? Topaz Yates back for another album review, and this one is to that Yo Gotti, White Friday, or CM9, Cocaine Music 9 and such, man. And you know, I'm giving this one the yellow light because there are a couple songs on here that are definitely worth a purchase, but yet for the vast majority of it, you're kind of getting the status quo here. Anybody who's unfamiliar with Yo Gotti, you gotta realize he's been doing trap music for quite some time, and that's all he's doing right here for the vast majority of it. Like, you look at songs like Castro that I already did a review for, and then you look back at some of the songs that he's done in the past, you compile all of that, man, and you realize exactly what most of this album is going to sound like. But yet the twist that makes this album different is the fact that it's more of a look back project. He's looking back at, okay, 1 year ago today, he released the biggest record of his career and such, man, and looking back at where he started from absolute nothing to where he's at now for signing a partnership deal, I believe that they've been saying, man, with Jay-Z and all of that. And these types of projects, man, I've never been quite fond of, man, because it comes off as more, I don't have any ideas for what's next, so let me go ahead and look back in the past and give you something based off of that. But yet, even with that, man, there's always an exception to all of these rules, and I feel as though some of these songs that he did while he was looking back really worked. Like the outro, the What Happened song, which is eerily reminiscent to that Last Call for Alcohol from Kanye West, in which that's all by design and such, man, because as you can tell throughout the song, he was talking about Kanye West on how he wanted to actually collaborate and work with Kanye for quite some time, and when it actually started happening, he really didn't believe in it. I mean, it's no coincidence that it's the last song on the project, that he's going in depth on his rise and such, man, and he breaks it down as he's speaking. It is definitely his own variation of that song, and it definitely does work. But speaking of songs that is his own variation of such, man, go to that Remember track. For those of you who haven't heard that exact sample that he did in there, Beanie Sigel used the same thing on that Becoming album, in which that was one of my favorite songs of Beanie Sigel of all time right here. That Look at Me Now track is dope. If you've never heard of that joint, man, you need to go ahead and peep that out. You got to realize that both of these songs are using the same sample, they're both along the same lines and such, man. It's just Beanie Sigel's go way harder than this one. I like that 81 track to a degree, even though at the beginning when I first listened to it, I was under the assumption that he was doing some wordplay or something here, with the title being 81 and how he's in the hook saying 9 times 9 is 81 and he was born in 81. But yet that's really where it stops. He really just goes and deviates and just starts spitting from there, and that's ultimately disappointing about it, because it had the potential to being something great if he actually had some kind of concept with it, but yet it was still a cool track. But I absolutely love that Power of Money track, where it is exactly as it sounds like. He's breaking down what money can ultimately do for you and what it's done for him, and how he's talking about how he paid $500,000 to get himself out of his own record deal and such that he had. And you know, if that's true, because you know rappers tend to exaggerate such things, man, but if that's true, that's a bit much to be paying to get you out of a record deal when you've never been on the top end of the commercial industry. That's kind of why I have my questions about it. But then he continues with it in the second verse, where he pretty much explains what women will do for money, where they'll have sex with individuals in order to get certain things paid for out of them, and I know that type 100%. Definitely a dope song, and I feel as though that one and the outro are definitely worth purchases, but besides that, man, really not much going here. I give this one a 6 out of 10. But a quick recap here, man. The positives that I take from this is the fact that he's doing the whole look back at his whole life and such. He's doing it on a good caliber here, where most people really fall short. But yet the negatives, there's only really 2 songs on here that are worth a purchase. But this concludes today's review, man, and now we're going to jump into a brief instrumental from underground producer Reno Corelli before we jump into the news, and then jump into an article from downloadpads.com. Seen that Gucci Mane commercial yet, man, for him playing the East Atlanta Santa? That joint is kind of dope, where pretty much a child is wishing to East Atlanta Santa to get a gold grill like he got and all of that, man, and he comes with some toothpaste and like, look, you want a shiny grill, you gotta take care of your teeth right now. Like, I absolutely love that. But anyway, on to today's article from downloadpads.com, and today's article was about getting too big, because there comes a point where an individual just becomes way too big to have any individual relationship with you if you didn't already know him to begin with, man. This is ultimately why a lot of these big name YouTubers online and such, man, they're very difficult to get a hold of because they're way too big to actually listen to what individuals are saying. You honestly got to go through an agency or whatever in order to reach them to actually book them for anything. And the same thing goes for these rappers and such, man. You kind of got to honestly expect by the time that you hear about an individual, unless you've been out there on the ground listening to underground mixtapes and all of that stuff before they went official on that Piff and all that, man, then you kind of got to assume that they're already too big for you to even talk to them. And it is what it is, man. Like, I can understand people listening to the music and you relate to it so much that you feel as though you actually know this person and all of that, man, like he actually speaks for you. But yet in the end, there's no way that these people could actually have a relationship with you because they're already known by 100,000 people like that. And hopefully it doesn't happen too soon for you as an individual if you're trying to get that, because if that happens to you too soon, then you won't have anybody to talk to because you'll be too big for everybody and you wouldn't have any time to go ahead and connect with anybody from the beginning. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.